Well, the Kumbu is a word that covers an awful lot of things. And I guess it means high mountainous region in my mind, but my first thought of the Kumbu would be our first campsite that first morning, and there were clouds that were masking the tall peaks beyond us, and it was maybe later on that afternoon or the next day, but at some point those clouds started to reveal these peaks that we weren't sure if there were mountains behind them or not, and we weren't sure if there were mountains that were that high or not. But when the clouds lifted, indeed there were mountains behind these clouds, and indeed they were very steep and very high, more than anything I'd ever seen in my life.
Okay, today there was a medical clinic from different states, and we just helped them. We prayed. What they did is the people came in and they had a diagnosis, and the doctor suggested a treatment, medication. But before they got the medication, someone presented them the gospel, usually in groups of about 5, and so they were given an opportunity to accept Christ, and most of them did pray. And then we also prayed for whatever their ailment was. So individually we laid hands on them and prayed that they'd be healed. It was an incredible day. I think 150 people came through today, and most of them did receive Christ. Obviously not everybody was sincere. I think some people were being polite, but I really felt that a lot of them did receive Christ, and a lot of them said they felt God had healed them too before they even got the medication. It was an incredible day. It was a divine appointment to be able to meet up with this medical team and be able to partner with them. Incredible day.
Oh, the villages. My first thought on that was just the incredible amount of handwork that is done everywhere in the Kumbu, in this high mountainous region, because in order to contain their animals, they've built stone walls. So as you walk the countryside, you see stone walls just everywhere, and those are pretty evident in some of the pictures that we've been able to share. Jola Pass, like Range Jola Pass, was covered with prayer flags. It was there Tashi, my faithful Sherpa, and I caught up with the rest of the team. Dan was reclining on his back, pretty well exhausted and taking a well-deserved rest from the effort of that climb. From the effort the climb had required of him, had required of us all. It was our first view of snow and ice and glacier right in front of where we sat. All other team members were also resting and eating and talking, and each one of us was thankful to have made it to the top of the pass, realizing that there were no guarantees. Down with a smile on his face. There, maybe 100 yards back, or possibly much further, as it is very hard to tell distance in these big mountains, was a lone Sherpa, or a rock shelf, on a rock shelf in the middle of the rock field. To say he was standing is not accurate, because his whole body was swaying from side to side in a rhythmic motion, as both knees would also bend and straighten, and then he would sway forward and back without losing the rhythm of this mountain dance. He was wearing a red parka, so it was very visible. He swayed and danced on a platform which elevated him above the gray of the rocks which made up the mountain all around him. It was then I first heard it, a beautiful sound which was faint yet clear, and I knew he sang as he danced. He wore no pack or heavy load, but just rejoiced in the freedom of being high in the Himalaya. We watched for maybe 5 minutes, or possibly twice that long, a very long time to stop when you are progressing up a big mountain. As we continued on, I looked back once more, quite a bit later, and he was still in his state of euphoria. Only this time I was amazed to see that he no longer danced alone. He had been joined by what I believe was a raven, and as the Sherpa and the red parka swayed and sang, the raven swooped and circled close by him as if to join in his dance from the air. It was truly an amazing sight, one I will never forget. Exhausted, but totally and completely in awe of the day that we've just had as we've trekked to Everspace Camp and saw the mountain unveil itself, the whole region, and kind of out of words to share it right now.
Then the snow stopped, and we looked up, and the sky just started opening up all down the valley, and we could see the whole glacier. And then we looked up, and we could just see mountains rising up until you couldn't see them anymore in the clouds, until finally the clouds parted enough so that we could see some peaks, and we could see the Khumbu icefall coming off Everest, and it was this great jumble of ice.
A lovely day I had spent well above 16,000 feet, and I can say I'm quite exhausted.